KXLY4 News presents Made in the Northwest, brought to you by Great Floors.
They are companies that drive our community, making products used locally and throughout the world. Tonight, we showcase some of the best and brightest manufacturing companies in the Inland Northwest. This is Made in the Northwest, a KXLY4 News special.
Well, hello and thanks for joining us for this special edition of KXLY4 News. I'm Derek Dice.
And I'm Robin Nance. Prepare to be amazed at the vision and skill of our neighbors here in the Northwest when you see all the many things they're making right here.
Yeah, products that help your pets, drinks to enjoy, improvements that will make your home shine, and so much more. Let's dive right in with the Spokane Natives company, Funnersoft, and its own virtual reality video game.
It all started with a 7-year-old playing Legend of Zelda on the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
And that's when I think fell in love with the idea of what games could be. And that's when I started drawing levels for Mario Brothers on my big scroll of paper, convinced that I'll send it to Nintendo, they'll put it in the next Mario game.
As fate would have it, Lester Bloom ended up with an internship at Nintendo, which turned into a job as a game programmer.
This is it. Oh my gosh, we did it. We're working at Nintendo, making games for Nintendo.
Bloom worked on 1080 Avalanche, a snowboarding game. Later, he helped develop the Guild Wars games for another company. But when he experienced virtual reality, he immediately knew he wanted to design something for VR.
It was magic. Instantly, you just teleported to a new world, you forget where you are.
So 2 years ago, Bloom went to work on his own game, Plantector. But with a full-time job and a family he was neglecting for this side project, Bloom started questioning his priorities.
Am I making the right kind of choices right now? Am I being the father that I want to be?
But with his wife's blessing, he left his job in Seattle and they moved back to Spokane so Bloom could devote 40 hours a week to finishing Plantector, which he says has way more substance than your typical VR game.
Because I want something meaty. I want something that somebody can sit down and play for 10, 20 hours.
Plantector took nearly 2,300 hours to develop.
A lot of those hours, are spent writing code, and then you immediately turn around and be like, okay, does this work?
Bloom says it's a mixture of strategic planning and intense VR action. Once you design your plan of attack,
and then in come the enemies, now you got to prove it. And you got to do it all in this really fast, interactive, real-time VR action sequence.
I can tell you firsthand Plantector is a lot of fun. Oh no, I failed! Which will be the goal of every Funnersoft game.
Get as much fun into the product as possible.
Plantector will be released on the video game platform Steam on February 27th. Bloom is obviously excited, but also ready to react to gamers.
I can see oh man, level 12, suddenly everybody's losing. Oh, I maybe made that too hard, so I can tweak things on the fly.
And Bloom is already developing Funnersoft's second game.
I took everything I used from Plantector and everything I've learned, and I kicked it up a notch. And this time there's actually a party of people to play with.
And you can bet it'll be fun, just like Zelda was for that 7-year-old with a dream.
You won't believe what a Spokane Valley company is doing with concrete.
Rock Sculptor can replicate any stone or finish you desire to create a one-of-a-kind masterpiece with concrete.
Warren Ness is an artist, but his medium isn't paint or even pottery. It's concrete.
I think it's a beautiful medium to work within.
Ness was at the Bronx Zoo when he noticed many of the animals' enclosures, which were made to look like stone, were actually made of concrete.
Everything was synthetic. I was just shocked. I have an artist background, and so just that kind of planted a seed within me to kind of investigate this and find out how they're doing this stuff.
He's been doing this stuff himself for over 10 years now, either in the studio behind his home or on locations all over the Northwest, sculpting museum-quality faux-scapes with concrete.
Water features, retaining walls, those are some real big ones, some hardscape systems, interior fireplaces, showers. You're trying to bring nature inside.
It starts by mixing sand, concrete, and what Ness calls his special sauce, developed by watching how concrete performs in the Northwest freeze and thaw environment. Rock Sculptor uses a variety of simple tools to replicate nature.
So there's a lot of study involved with that, and I like to take the detail to the highest level possible.
Giving the concrete some geometry is the key.
If you're doing rock, there's definitely some commonalities within the rock. 30-degree kicks this way, the fractures run this way. There's laws within it.
Rock Sculptor can provide even the smallest details for your project. All of these lichens on this monolithic wine rack, even they are made of concrete.
Fantasy Artist integrates all these cool things inside one picture. We're trying to do the same thing with concrete. The cracks, the fractures, lichens, simulated biology, moss, the works.
Most of Rock Sculptor's clients say the look is so real, they can hardly believe it's concrete.
They touch and feel it, and they just can't believe. It's very gratifying at the end of the day to see a client just blown away at what can be done with concrete.
Ness loves the medium so much, he's now offering training in an effort to see his craft grow throughout the Northwest.
The knowledge that I've learned over the years, and if they can implement that, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Including the clients.
For the second time in a year, a local entrepreneur was fighting for attention and money on ABC's Shark Tank.
Coeur d'Alene's Carolyn Schufelt and her business partner pitched the sharks on their Rocketeer Pack, a multifunctional harness for small dogs. Check it out.
It's designed to let you safely take your dog wherever you go.
We had our mopeds, and we wanted to take our dogs on the mopeds with us.
When Carolyn Schufelt couldn't find anything like it, she went to work on her sewing machine, creating the original version of the Rocketeer Pack. And after showing it to her parents,
And they said, you need to get a patent on that. So that's where we started brainstorming.
Schufelt decided to make the pack multifunctional so you can also wear it and keep your dog strapped to your chest like a baby Bjorn.
And they love to go out, and about on our mopeds, bikes, whatever, walking.
And as you might expect, the Rocketeer Pack is designed for small dogs only.
25 pounds and under, maximum length at 20 inches.
And while it may look awkward for the dogs, it's extremely safe, and it has a certificate from the Center for Pet Safety to prove it after passing multiple crash tests.
There's only 3 other products on the market that have ever been certified in a crash test. Very expensive testing, and most of them failed.
But knowing she lacked business acumen, Schufelt reached out to Jules Bindi, the founder of Zugo Pet, for help, and they clicked immediately.
Just 2 dog moms trying to make a difference and save pets' lives and families' lives.
They now sell the Rocketeer Pack in 5 different sizes, and they're approaching 1,500 packs sold. But what they hope will be their big break came last summer when they flew to Los Angeles to record an episode of Shark Tank.
It was a fabulous experience. Everybody there was absolutely just so genuine and accommodating and so nice.
Schufelt can't tell us if they received an offer from a shark, but she can't wait to stop biting her tongue.
Everybody comes up and says, you need to go on Shark Tank. And I'm going, thank goodness Jules is my fall guy. I'm just going, oh, well, that's a Jules decision. I'll tell her that you said that.
But whether a shark bites or not, Schufelt says she has 3 new dog products she's working on, and she's looking forward to helping save dogs and families' lives.
And those reports that, you get when, gosh, this kept my pet safe. Because you're just going, we did something good.
We have so much more to show you on this special edition of Made in the Northwest.
Including local syrups that will make your drink something special. And the story behind it is pretty amazing too.
And using Washington apples to make a hard cider that can't be beat. Check out our local One Tree Cider.
And the next time you need a pair of skis or maybe a snowboard, why not shop locally? We'll introduce you to the company right here in Spokane making them.
It all started with a love for Washington apples and a Father's Day gift of a cider making kit.
Now Spokane's One Tree Hard Cider is distributing all over Washington, Idaho, and a handful of other states. Check it out.
Grant Barnes wanted a home brewing kit for Father's Day, but his wife bought him a cider making kit instead, and his first attempt was a disaster.
Ended up turning into vinegar, and then we were like, we live in the Apple State, like how hard can this be?
Barnes and Neil Hennessy were co-workers at a cell phone company when they decided to fully commit to making cider.
And it just exploded. People obviously love cider, and we kind of filled that need here in Spokane.
They knew they were onto something with One Tree Hard Cider when they received a call from the Post Street Ale House.
Up until that point, no one had ever called us and demanded our product.
One Tree uses only Washington apples, and its ciders are 100% natural.
We're using all real fruit puree. We use real apple cider. There's no concentrate craziness in there.
And Barnes and Hennessy are pretty much the opposite of cider snobs.
We're goofballs. We're nerds. We like having fun. We like experimenting. We want people to not have to guess like what's in the product.
One Tree makes 4 core ciders and several seasonal ciders as well, but its lemon basil is by far its most popular.
They taste it and they're like, how do I get it? How much can you give me?
One Tree opened this cider house on South Madison on the west end of downtown back on September 1st. They always feature 20 ciders on tap, and not just their own.
And we can bring awareness to not only the cider movement and what ciders can differ from dry to sweet. And then obviously we have food, and it's just it's a fun environment for all of our friends.
These days, One Tree is making about 80 barrels of cider a week, or over 100,000 gallons a year. Every other week, it bottles a massive amount of cider and spends the rest of the time breaking down and cleaning equipment in draft kegs.
It's constant. We're operating 5 days a week, and most of the time 6 days a week, just to make sure.
One Tree has distribution in 4 different states, with a 5th on the way, and it can be found just about anywhere in Washington and Idaho.
Total Wine & More, Costco, Bevmo, and all the local chains that have helped us so much, like Yolks and Rosars, Super Ones.
And after doubling in sales every year so far, the future for One Tree looks as sweet as its ciders.
We can build that awesome business culture and hire more people, and we can grow that message about who One Tree is and what we're going to do for the community.
You know what a side hustle is, right? It's a job on the side to bring in a little extra money or do something you love.
Well, Side Hustle Syrups is taking off and could one day be a booming business of its own. If you haven't heard of it, you're in for a treat.
It all started in 2017 when Dry Fly Distilling asked Dylan Huser, who had a background in commercial brewing, to make an in-house ginger beer for their tasting room.
I've never made ginger beer before. I've never made syrups before. So I really didn't have any idea what I was doing.
Huser threw himself into the project before having an epiphany.
Why don't I just make a concentrate?
And just like that, Side Hustle Syrups was born.
And it became, this like, wow, this is a really good thing. And it's notably different than anything that I've seen commercially made. So that was really a proud moment for us.
Side Hustle currently sells 2 craft syrups for cocktails, ginger beer and tonic, as well as 4 simple syrups, and they're all made with natural, fresh ingredients.
When you taste them, it's notably different, and you can tell that there's more flavor, it tastes better, it's better quality.
And Huser says his day job at Dry Fly has been extremely beneficial for his blossoming business.
I get to learn how to make the products that I intend my products to go with, and are paired with.
But the syrups can be used for more than just cocktails.
You can use it in baked goods, you could use it in dessert toppings and whatnot.
And he's working on a deal with Sweet Frostings Bakery to have his syrups sold there.
They're gonna be able to pick it up and they're gonna say, hey, you wanna try to make some cupcakes with this?
Right now, Side Hustle's syrups have to be refrigerated, but Huser is undergoing tests to certify his products as shelf stable, which will be huge for his business.
Then you're gonna be able to see it at these local retailers, and I'm really excited to start doing business with them. And more people are allowed to taste the products, and at the end of the day, that's what I want.
Side Hustle sold about 400 bottles in 2018 and hopes to increase that number dramatically this year.
I would love to, sell twice that or triple that or whatever that might look like. I'd love to be involved with more bars.
But what happens if Huser's Side Hustle needs to become his full-time gig?
That's the question of the year, man. Needless to say, I guess I really don't know, and I'm just gonna kind of live it one day at a time.
And see where craft syrups can take him.
When it comes to putting together a project, it's the little things that matter.
That's why, for decades, Reef Injection Molding has been turning out perfect little pieces for all kinds of jobs. We'll show you just ahead.
Then it's Caramel for a Cause. Meet the local micro creamery with a sweet product and an even sweeter mission.
It's been around since 1979, manufacturing plastic parts, both big and small, for all kinds of industry.
You'll be amazed at what Reef Injection Molding in East Spokane can do.
When a company needs parts, it will often turn to an injection molding company. And if it needs plastic parts done quickly and at a decent cost, Reef Injection Molding may be the answer.
We do stuff for telecommunications. That's probably our biggest market share. We also do some sporting goods, irrigation, dental.
Basically, injection molding is
taking plastic and changing it from one form to another, from a pellet in our case, and we turn it into good product for other manufacturers generally.
On this day, Reef is making 3/4-inch pipe parts at a rate of about 15 per minute. It's also making these glow-in-the-dark 6-cavity sardine bait holders, as well as these 24-cavity plastic pieces that'll go into fishing poles. Those are being made in Reef's 25-ton, 1-ounce press.
25 tons is how much pressure it uses to push the mold together with, and 1 ounce is the amount of plastic that it can squish into the mold at one time.
That's Reef's smallest machine.
Our biggest machine is a 390-ton, and it does 30 ounce.
With its granulator and color mixer, Jay McCall says Reef recycles over 99% of the plastic that's left over.
We cut up the unusable part of the process, the screw and runner. We cut that back up and run it back through the machine when we can. We don't want to send that to landfill. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the next generation. Nothing.
Reef makes a wide variety of custom plastic parts, including the Gripper Q-Caddy, designed by a local inventor who became overwhelmed making them in his garage.
So he brought it to us, and we helped him move into injection molding, and now we can make a part in about every 2 to 3 minutes.
And Reef hopes to keep making parts for years to come.
We just keep expanding. We keep on pulling on new customers, new products, and we just want to keep doing that.
Injecting real value through injection molding.
Carmel Kitchen likes to say it's more than a micro creamery because it sells its caramel sauce for a cause.
The Coeur d'Alene company has kids at heart and has plans to grow and grow with its tasty products.
Stephanie Hunter loves caramel, so years ago she decided to make it herself.
I burnt my first 3 tries, but I was determined to get it right.
Soon she was giving it away as gifts, but then after getting more and more requests, her husband Brad encouraged her to go into the caramel making business.
He said, "Hey, hon, I think you have something here." And so he encouraged me to give it a shot.
In 2016, Carmel Kitchen opened up shop here at the Silver Lake Mall in Coeur d'Alene. The Hunters also take Salty the Caramel Bar, a converted Coleman trailer, to all kinds of local markets and shows.
To do the shows and to get it in people's mouths and have them try it, that's been our #1 advertising. And so we're just trying to get out there in the community.
Carmel Kitchen is more than a micro creamery. It inspires families to work together, and a portion of its proceeds go towards helping families start or stay in Christian education.
Kids get to go and do the shows, so as a family, and they get to keep the part of the proceeds. It helps offset their tuition costs or their homeschooling curriculum costs.
Call it caramel sauce with a purpose. That sauce starts by melting down sugar until it's in a liquid form. Then
we add our butter, and then we add our cream, salt, and vanilla, and just 5 simple ingredients, and that's it.
there's no corn syrup and no artificial products. They even use natural cream from a farm in Seattle. Each batch of caramel takes about 45 minutes to make and produces about 85 to 95 bottles, which are filled with this machine.
It's awesome having the help of a bottling machine that helps get our exact measurements in every bottle and saves my shoulder.
For labeling, Carmel Kitchen counts on 3 fine young employees.
They're my children, 9, 11, and 13, and they have probably labeled 90% of the bottles that we sell.
As you might expect, the holidays are the biggest time of the year for Carmel Kitchen. Between now and Christmas, they'll sell between 5,000 and 7,000 bottles.
Right now, the company has 8 different flavors. The top seller, salted caramel.
Hands down, that's our #1 seller. Our second best seller is our bourbon.
Carmel Kitchen will soon be offering dairy-free products and is actively pursuing coffee shops to carry its sauces. But the ultimate goal?
I would love to have this be in every market and give families all over the country the opportunity to work towards their kids' education.
And that's what makes this more than a micro creamery.
Well, winter sports are a big part of the charm of living in the Pacific Northwest.
Did you know there's a local company making skis and snowboards that you can hit the slopes with? We'll check out Sneva Manufacturing next. If you are looking for a new pair of skis or maybe a snowboard, why not buy one made right here in the Inland Northwest?
Spokane Sneva Manufacturing has been making its products by hand since it was founded in 1994.
These days, the Sneva name is synonymous with snow sports, given its 25-year history of making skis and snowboards.
We just do some hard work and make good skis. That's how it goes.
But the Sneva name used to be known for racing. TJ Sneva's dad, Jerry, was the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year in 1977, and his uncle, Tom Sneva, won the Indy 500 in 1983. TJ races this winged sprint car on tracks all around the Northwest and even briefly moved his ski manufacturing business to Indianapolis.
After a while, kind of realized I wasn't going to be an IndyCar driver, so brought the business home to Spokane.
The idea to make skis first came to Sneva in the early 90s.
Wanted to do what snowboarders were doing at the time, but we didn't have the skis to do it.
So in 1994, Sneva Manufacturing became the first company to make twin-tip skis.
No spin weight, like really easy to do tricks on.
And these are premium skis, each pair painstakingly crafted by Sneva himself. He says one thing that sets his skis apart is using better material in the wood cores.
We use maple for our core, which is an expensive way to do it.
The other is the way the skis are shaped.
We're constantly tweaking on our shapes and making them better. We've got over 30 models of skis now.
From cutting the original strips of maple to putting them through the planer over and over again, each pair of skis takes about 6 to 8 hours of hands-on work to make.
So just a ton of steps, but in the end you get a rad ski, and that's what we're looking to do.
In addition to skis and snowboards, Sneva is also making snow skates for a company called Boyd Hill in Coeur d'Alene.
Just about anything somebody wanted, we could probably pull it off.
And word seems to be getting out about the quality from this Spokane company.
We're doing an order for Iceland coming up, which is cool. We've done snow skates that went to Japan. We sent skis to Norway.
Sneva makes about 1,000 pairs of skis and snowboards a year, but says there's definitely room for growth.
It would be all right to increase, to maybe 2,000 to 3,000 pair a year and get a couple guys, train some guys.
And while Sneva was born with racing in his blood, he says the family sport shares a lot of similarities with skiing.
The way you arc your turn and, smooth and fast. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason I like skiing so much. It's a lot like racing cars.
And it's the future for the Sneva name.
We're lucky to have so many manufacturing companies based here in the Inland Northwest.
And we want to remind you that you can see new editions of Made in the Northwest every Thursday on KXLY 4 News. And you can find all of our stories on our website, KXLY.com.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon on KXLY 4 News.